In part 1, we summarized Dany's experience in the House of the Undying, and went through what the Prophecy of 3 mean. In this video, we'll be explaining the visions, what are the differences between the visions and the prophecy, and what did the Undying want from Dany. In the House of the Undying, Dany sees 3 sets of visions. Visions in the doors, and 2 different sets of visions the Undying showed her after the prophecy. The visions in the doors. The first vision about the woman is too vague to know what does it refer to. It could be a metaphor for the 7 kingdoms, or it could be Dany herself, and the little men are men trying to steal her power. Or it could mean Cersei, where she is surrounded by men trying to destroy her. Or it could mean no one. The second vision is about the Red Wedding. But the Red Wedding in the vision is not like the Red Wedding that actually happened. In the vision, Robb was sitting on the throne above, but in the Red Wedding, that was where Walder Frey was sitting. Robb Stark was with everyone else below. In the vision, Robb was wearing a crown on his head, and was holding a lamb's leg. In the Red Wedding, Cat doesn't remark about the crown. But Robb didn't even touch the lamb. By the time the Freys brought the lamb, Robb stopped eating. The one who was holding the lamb's leg was Sir Wendell Manderly. Also, in the vision, all the people are dead. But in the actual Red Wedding, the Freys took a lot of High Lords as hostages. The third vision is about the house with the red door, and we don't know enough about the house to know if there were mistakes in the vision. In the fourth vision, Dany sees the Mad King telling a man below to burn the city. However, she doesn't see Jaime in the room. Also, Dany describes the Mad King as an old man with rich robes, dark eyes and silvery grey hair, but she doesn't remark about his long nails. The fifth vision is a conversation between Rhaegar and Elia, and it is hard to see how this conversation even happened. Elia almost died giving birth to Aegon. Aegon was still a newborn in the vision, and he was still unnamed. So, Elia was still dying in her bed. I don't know a lot about dying queens in the medieval fantasy lands, but I would assume they are not that interested in writing songs. And the dying wife of the heir to the throne would have been surrounded by maesters and servants to ensure she would be okay. The only way this conversation happened, just like in the vision, is if this woman was not Elia, or this baby is not Aegon. The sixth vision is simply wrong, because Pied Pri didn't want Dany to get lost in the house. He's the one who told her not to go through any door but the first door to her right. The last vision in the doors is a group of wizards and wise people that resemble heroes, kings, ladies and gods in the stories and songs. And none of them really exist, or at least, if they do exist, then they have nothing to do with Dany's story. They mostly represent God sending the hero on a quest and rewarding them afterward. The kind of stories little girls hear about. After Dany reaches the Undying, they gave her 2 groups of visions. The first group is Daughter of Death, Slayer of Lies, and Bride of Fire. The second one is general visions with no titles, and also, most of them are wrong. In the first vision, the molten gold covers Viserys' cheeks and fills his mouth. In the actual chapter, the molten gold was dripping into his chest. A small difference, but still a difference. The second vision is about Rhaego, and he was killed. So this vision is simply wrong. The third vision is about the trident. The thing is, Dany saw Rhaegar in the vision above. He looks a lot like Viserys, who Dany knows. And Dany told Jorah Mormont she saw her brother playing the harp. But Dany doesn't recognize or speak about him in this vision. Dany knows the names of both Elia and Lyanna, and she thinks there was no Visenya. So, it's most likely that the Rhaegar in this vision looks different from the Rhaegar in the vision above. And if we take the Red Wedding as an example of mistakes in the visions, then the man in this vision is Prince Lewin Martell. He died on the trident with Rhaegar. He doesn't look like anyone Dany knows, so she can't recognize him, and Dany doesn't know the name of his paramour. The vision switched between the two princes, just like it switched between Walder Frey and Robb Stark. The second vision is a slayer of lies. The first vision talks about Stannis casting no shadow with the Lightbringer. But unless the vision is a metaphor about Stannis dying and everything he did mean nothing, then this vision is simply wrong. Stannis cast the shadow that killed Renly, and Melisandre says she can't have another shadow baby with Stannis, because it could kill him, not he doesn't have any more shadows. The second vision is about a dragon banner. It most likely referred to Aegon raising his banners after taking Storm's End. Now, what is the lie that Aegon represents? If Aegon was a Targaryen or a Blackfyre, then he's still a dragon. And he does have the blood of the dragon, because the plan Illyrio and Varys had was for him to meet up with Dany and be a dragon rider. The third vision is Winterfell burning at the hand of the Boltons, or it might refer to the Battle of Ice. Jon is going to Winterfell, and there is so much foreshadowing about all the Stark kings and spells getting involved in the battle. This vision is about a stone dragon breathing shadow fire, which Summer saw in the sky after the burning of Winterfell. But Dany has dragons, and she doesn't see this beast as a dragon. So, either there are other types of dragons, like the first main dragons doesn't look like Valyrian dragons, or this vision is simply wrong. This set had no lies to be slain. Stannis does have a shadow. Aegon, Blackfyre or Targaryen, is still a dragon. And Winterfell did burn, and there is a beast that came out of it. The last set of visions is the Bride of Fire. The first vision is about Dany Silver on her wedding night, but in the vision, Silver was alone. The second vision is about Victarion Greyjoy going to Meereen. The last vision is about Jon, represented by a blue flower. Now, Dany doesn't recognize the flower, so it could be a blue rose, or a different kind of flower. In the Stone City, the book that has a whole city that works just like the House of the Undying, there is a forest, the trees in it are icy, and it only grows blue flowers that have no leaves. However, going back to things that exist outside of the visions, there are two weirwoods growing from cracks in the wall. The Black Gate, that is an actual crack in the wall, and the tree that is growing from a hole in the Night Fort's kitchen. So, there are a few options about this part. Blue roses are so exotic that Dany can't recognize them. It's a different type of blue flowers, and it's not a metaphor for Jon. Or it's one of the two weirwoods growing from cracks in the wall, and the vision is wrong. Now, this part of the vision describes Dany as Bride of Fire. However, except for Drogo, Dany is the bride of no one. Dany married his dad, and he's not part of the vision. Victorian wants to marry Dany, but he's trying to kidnap a girl that is not there. Also, he's going to her as a slaver. The Ironborn who follow him know the plan is to kidnap Dany and run away, leaving her people to be killed. And Victorian took a lot of slaves to work for him. Slaves who won't be okay with this guy steal their mother or force her to marry him. And the Dusky Woman knows about his plan. She is a slave, and just like all the other slaves in the story, she will try to get her freedom when she gets to Marine. In other words, Victorian have no chance to live long enough to even see Dany. The third vision is about Jon. Jon spends most of dance crushing on Val, and with him leaving the wall, he will be married before Dany could ever get close to Westeros. If not to Val, then to the daughter of one of his allies, which puts two of the three visions are wrong. The second vision, the Undying shot Dany, is also wrong, or have a lot of mistakes. The first vision shows shadows dancing in a tent, but in the actual chapter, Mary Mazdor was dancing with them. The second vision is about the house with the red door. Again, we don't know enough about it to know if there is something wrong in this vision. The third vision is about the birth of the dragons, but in the vision, the dragon burst from Mary Mazdor's brows, not from the dragon egg that hatched. And there are three dragons, not one. The fourth vision is about the death of the man who tried to poison Dany in game. Now, Dany sees Silver in the House of the Undying a couple of visions ago, and she calls that horse her Silver. She will see another vision about Silver, and in that vision, Dany also calls the horse her Silver. But in this one vision, Dany calls her a silver horse, not her silver horse, which means this horse is a silver horse, not her silver horse. Also, in the actual chapter, Dany was riding on the horse, but in the vision, there is no rider. The next vision is about the lion Drogo hunted in the first book. The next vision is about the Doshkalin, naked bowing to Dany. It may be a vision about the future, but with the amount of mistakes in the visions of the House of the Undying about the past, it most likely when Dany presented Rhaego to them. After all, there is no real reason Dany would ever go back to the Mother of Mountains. Dany doesn't want to go to Vaes Dothrak, and she have a dragon, so no one can force her to go. The last vision is about the slaves calling her mother. Dany thinks she saw this vision when she freed the slaves, but there is a possibility they may be the slaves running away from the Pale Mare. And there is the possibility that this vision is a mixture of both events. So, why the prophecies are correct and the visions are wrong? The most obvious reason is prophecies are generalized, while visions are specific. Saying 3 reasons, one for blood, one for gold, and one for love, gives a lot of leeway for mistakes, while visions doesn't get that, because Dany is seeing something with her own eyes. After all, if we try to remove the details from the visions, then they would be correct. Like the Red Wedding. If we said a king with a wolf's head is dead in a feast for corpses, then the prophecy would be correct. even though the vision doesn't match the event it describes. We can generalize most of the visions, and most likely it would be correct. Like, a prince was born, and his song is the song of ice and fire. There must be one more. The dragon has 3 heads. Removing the unwanted details from the vision removes the fact that a woman who almost died giving birth, and most likely in extreme pain, is not likely to just sit there feeding her baby and talk about songs without a problem. So, what did the Undying want from dany? And what are the treason, fire and mount for love? Trying to find out what the Undying want is not that hard. They are a dying power that once was great, and ever since dany got there, some of their powers started to come back. So they wanted and needed to consume her fire and life, or if they failed to consume her, then kill her. The interesting thing about the Undying is they consider dany as the source of magic, not the dragons. After all, dany only brought one dragon with her, and Pied Prey didn't care. The people in the House of the Undying acknowledged Drogon only when they told dany to ignore him. The real Undying were so fixated about consuming dany, they ignored the dragon. And after Drogon burned the House of the Undying, Pied Prey tried to kill dany, not the dragon. A living and free dany can give birth to the stallion that mounts the world. And the stallion will destroy Karth, the place where the Undying live in. Which leads us to the love part in the prophecy. It meant to stop dany if they failed to kill or consume her. After all, a lot of the Undying visions are completely incorrect, like Rhaego being alive. So, if dany sees the first 2 fires, mounts, and reasons are correct, then she would have a good reason to trust the third part for love. A fire for love may encourage dany to burn the man she may have the stallion with. The reason for love will make dany more paranoid about who's with her. And the mount for love means dany may leave the mount for dread, which is Drogon. Now, saying all the visions the Undying gave dany are wrong may be weird. The Undying themselves put the question of, is their visions real or not, when they told dany their visions are about the future, when they are clearly not. Dany believed the visions without a question, because she just hatched dragons, and believed the gods sent her to Karth for some reason, after following the comet through the Red Wastes. This may be a far-fetched theory, but George keeps telling us to question prophecies, and what are the motivations of the people who gave these prophecies.